Let me start with a question that might feel uncomfortably familiar. Have you ever woken up in the morning already feeling heavy? Not just tired, but internally weighed down. Like your body is holding on to something it should have released yesterday or the day before. You drink water, you try coffee, maybe you've even tried fiber supplements, detox teas, or over-the-counter solutions. And still, nothing feels complete. Nothing feels resolved. Instead, the same cycle repeats. Sluggish mornings, bloating that builds throughout the day. That subtle but persistent sense that your body is not working with you, but against you. Now here's the part that most people get wrong, and it's costing them years of frustration. That feeling is not because your body is full of toxins. It's not because your colon is clogged like a pipe that needs to be flushed. And more importantly, it's not because you haven't found the strong enough solution yet. The real issue, in many cases, is far less dramatic, but far more important. It's a communication problem. Your digestive system is not just a mechanical tube where things go in one end and come out the other. It is a highly intelligent, coordinated system that depends on timing, signaling, and rhythm. When those signals are clear and well-timed, your body moves waste efficiently, often without you even thinking about it. But when those signals become weak, delayed, or disorganized, everything slows down, even if there's nothing physically blocking the way. And that changes how you should think about solving the problem. Because if the issue is communication, then trying to force your body with stronger laxatives, aggressive cleanses, or extreme interventions doesn't actually fix the root cause. In fact, it often makes things worse over time by teaching your system to rely on force instead of restoring its natural rhythm. So instead of asking, "How do I push this out?" a better question is, "How do I help my body restart the signal that was always meant to move things forward?" That's exactly what we're going to explore today. And by the end of this, you'll not only understand what's really happening inside your body, you'll also have a simple, precise method you can try that works with your physiology, not against it. But first, we need to understand what actually causes this stuck feeling in the first place. Inside your digestive system, movement doesn't happen randomly. It happens in coordinated waves. These waves are controlled by a network of nerves and muscles that communicate constantly. When you eat, your stomach sends a signal downstream that says, "New food is coming in. Make space." This triggers increased activity in the colon. Between meals, your body runs a kind of internal housekeeping cycle that clears residual material through the intestines. These processes are subtle, but they are incredibly important, and they rely on precise timing. Now imagine what happens when that timing gets disrupted. This can occur gradually. It might be influenced by age, chronic stress, irregular eating patterns, lack of movement, or even repeated use of stimulant laxatives. Over time, the signals become less responsive. The muscles may still be capable of moving, but they're no longer being told when and how to move effectively. The result? Things sit longer than they should. Water gets reabsorbed. Stool becomes harder to pass, not necessarily because it started that way, but because it stayed too long. Gas can build up in pockets, creating pressure and bloating. And perhaps most frustrating of all, the urge to go becomes weaker or inconsistent. This is why so many people feel like their body has forgotten how to function properly. But here's the encouraging part. In many cases, the system isn't broken. It's just out of sync. And when something is out of sync, the goal is not to overpower it. The goal is to retune it. This brings us to a simple but powerful concept: the difference between force and signal. Force creates immediate results, but often at a cost. It can lead to cramping, urgency, dehydration, and dependency. Signal, on the other hand, works more subtly. It initiates a chain reaction. It restores coordination, and when it works, the result feels less like something was forced out and more like your body finally did what it was supposed to do all along. So how do you create that signal? This is where a very specific combination comes into play, one that has both traditional use and modern scientific backing. We're talking about ginger and peppermint. Now, these are not random ingredients. Each one affects your digestive system in a distinct and complementary way. Ginger supports movement. It encourages your stomach to empty more efficiently and helps stimulate the muscular contractions that move contents through your digestive tract. Think of it as gently nudging the system forward. Peppermint does something equally important, but in the opposite direction. It helps relax the smooth muscles of the intestines. If parts of your colon are tense, constricted, or spasming, even slightly, that tension can act like a bottleneck. Peppermint helps release that tension, allowing movement to happen more smoothly. When you combine these two effects, something interesting happens. You're not just telling the system to move, you're also removing the resistance that might be preventing movement in the first place. That combination, stimulate and relax, is what makes this approach different from many conventional options. But here's where most people go wrong. They focus on the ingredients, but ignore the method. And with something like this, the method is everything. If you want to try this in a way that actually aligns with how your body works, the preparation and timing need to be intentional. Start with a cup of freshly boiled water. Add about half a teaspoon of freshly grated ginger, or a high-quality powder if that's what you have. Then add a pure peppermint tea bag. Not a blend. You want peppermint on its own. Now here's a detail that many people overlook. Cover the cup while it steeps. This helps retain the volatile compounds, the parts that actually contribute to the physiological effect. Let it sit for about 5 to 7 minutes. Once it's ready, remove the tea bag and begin drinking it slowly. Not all at once, not in a rush. Take 5 to 10 minutes to sip it. This might seem like a small detail, but it matters. When you introduce something into your system gradually, your body has time to register and respond. When you gulp it down quickly, you lose that subtle signaling effect. Timing is just as important as preparation. This should be done on an empty stomach. Ideally first thing in the morning, or at least 2 to 3 hours after eating. When your stomach is empty, the signals triggered by the drink are more likely to initiate a broader digestive response rather than being absorbed into the process of digesting a recent meal. After you finish, stay upright. Sit comfortably for 15 to 20 minutes. This allows gravity to assist the natural downward movement. It also gives your body the space to respond without interruption. If you want to enhance the effect, you can incorporate slow, deep breathing. Not forced, just steady, relaxed breathing that expands your diaphragm. This can support the connection between your nervous system and your digestive system, further encouraging coordination. Now let's talk about what you might feel. If this works for you, the sensation is usually not dramatic or painful. It's often subtle at first. A sense of internal movement, a shift in pressure, maybe some gentle gurgling. Over the next several minutes, that sensation can build into a natural urge. Not urgency, not cramping, just a clear signal that your body is ready. And when that happens, the experience tends to feel different from forced solutions. More complete, more satisfying, less chaotic. Because what you're experiencing is not irritation, it's coordination. Now, it's important to be realistic. This is not a guaranteed 10-minute fix for everyone. Bodies are different. Some people may respond quickly. Others may need a few days of consistency. And some may notice only subtle improvements. That doesn't mean it's not working. It may simply mean your system needs time to re-establish its rhythm. If you choose to try this, think of it as a short-term reset tool rather than a long-term dependency. Use it once a day for a few days. Pay attention to how your body responds. The goal is not to rely on it forever, but to help your system remember how to function on its own. There are also a few things to avoid. Don't add sugar or sweeteners. These can alter the digestive response and may lead to additional gas or bloating. Keep it simple. Don't combine this with other laxatives or aggressive methods. More is not better here. In fact, combining approaches can create conflicting signals and reduce the effectiveness of each. And finally, listen to your body. If you have ongoing symptoms, severe discomfort, or underlying conditions, it's important to seek proper medical guidance. This method is supportive, not a replacement for diagnosis or treatment. As we bring this together, I want you to return to the idea we started with, that feeling of being stuck, heavy, out of sync. What if it's not something you need to fight? What if it's something you need to listen to? Your body is not trying to work against you. In many cases, it's simply waiting for the right conditions, the right timing, the right signal. And when you provide that, consistently, gently, intelligently, you may find that things begin to shift in a way that feels surprisingly natural. Not forced, not extreme, just restored. So instead of chasing stronger solutions, consider trying something more precise. Because sometimes, the most powerful change doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing the right thing, at the right time, in the right way. And that can be enough to help your body find its rhythm again.